Welcome to our video on how to get started with Prezentt. I'm Jeff Robson, one of the Prezentt co-founders. As you can see on my screen here, I've got a Prezentt demo in PowerPoint. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that I've finished my presentation. So I'm happy with the presentation in PowerPoint. Then I go up here to File, Save As, and I simply save it as a PDF version. And off it goes and saves this onto my hard drive. And this is pretty similar for most other presentation applications, Keynote and so forth. And when it comes up on here, here is my PDF of the presentation. I can scroll through, make sure it all looks okay, click on Close. Even if I'm using Prezi, I can still create a PDF of my presentation. I click the Edit button as shown here, click on the Share button in the top left hand corner, and click on Download as PDF. So it's pretty simple. Alright, I now need to log myself into Prezentt, go to my account, and I'll come over here and create a new presentation. Alright, so here's where I can input all the details of my slides and the presentation that I'm doing. I need to first of all get that PDF copy that I just created, and I'm just going to drag that across. You can click the Browse for a file if you want, but the easiest way I think is to drag it across. And you can see it's now uploading those slides into Prezentt. Very important, don't close the window as it says here, don't navigate away from this page, but while it's uploading I can go in here and I can start creating the details for my presentation. And this was a presentation on presenting Prezentt. And I can continue going through here and opening up and typing in all of the information about my presentation. Now you'll notice on the side here it's actually saying it's processing the slides now. So it's got a copy of my presentation, and what it's now doing is converting the presentation from PDF into some images that will be optimized for people's various size devices. Now that will take a couple of minutes, but while it's doing that I can come in here, enter more information about my presentation. I've got the description here, the date and time and when does it start, what's the venue, the location, all those types of things. You can also see on the side here I can also upload other files and documents. So this is a great place to put all sorts of really useful templates, white papers, more detailed information, special offers, even a copy of your actual PowerPoint or Keynote slides if you'd like to. All we need to do is drag and drop some of the files into here. Let me bring up my files. So this could be any sorts of files pretty much. You can see down here it says you can add in PowerPoint, Excel, Word, different image files and so forth, PDFs, all sorts of different files that I can put in here. And I've just dragged that across and dropped it in, and I could just type in a quick name and a description if I'd like to. The last section down the bottom here is for links. So these can be links to my website, could be links to other related blogs, YouTube videos, my newsletter, social media, whatever it might be, any kind of online content I can link to. And I can put as many links in here as I would like to. I can also put as many files and documents in here as I'd like to as well. Now, these links and files and so on are really useful because they add a huge amount of additional value to people in the audience. Alright, so I've now entered all of my links. I've now entered my file and documents and so on. Over this side I've typed in the location, checked the map, everything is great. If I scroll up here, in the meantime I can see that Prezentt has been busy processing my PDF in the background and is now finished. Fantastic. I can come down the bottom here and I can click on Save Changes. Okay, I'm now looking at the settings page, and on here I can specify a few more options. I can say whether I want to allow my audience to download my slides. Do I want to hide this presentation from public search so that if someone goes to the Prezentt homepage and does a search, they won't find this presentation? For example, a confidential training or a confidential briefing. I can specify what time I would like to make these slides available from. So if someone visits the Prezentt landing page, which we'll see in a moment, they won't be able to access the slides until at least this time. On the right hand side over here, I've got a couple of other options about what sort of social sharing I would like to allow my attendees to be able to do. And down the bottom I can say, do I want my attendees to be able to provide feedback? Now, feedback is comments from the audience that everybody else in the audience can see. Lastly, on the left hand side here, I can type in a short URL, so I could type in this customized URL that makes it very easy for people to find my presentation. I would just tell them to go to pz.tt/prezdemo, and they type that into their browser and they would find my presentation. When I've finished, I click on Save Changes and move on to the next part. This screen is the last part of creating my presentation, and on here I can choose, if I want to share details of my presentation on social media. Now, I might want to choose the presentation itself, or I may choose to share the event registration page. Either way, I have an option of either sharing, or if I untick this, it will be not shared. So last part, when I click on Publish, my presentation now gets published. Alright, fantastic. I've published my presentation. Success. Now, if I want to see what this is going to look like when an attendee comes in and views it, I can just click on this link. And what I'm now looking at is the customized landing page for my particular presentation, which all of my attendees will see when they click on that short pz.tt link or do a search and find my presentation from the Prezentt homepage. So I can see down here, here are the files and the links, one of each, that I uploaded when I was creating my presentation. I can see over here that feedback is not available because I switched it off as part of the settings. And I can see the address and the time and so forth. Now, because I'm the presenter of this particular presentation, I'm not blocked from viewing the slides. If I was an attendee, however, I would be blocked from viewing the slides until the start time had passed. So I'm just going to click in here, and now I can see my presentation in terms of what it would look like for an attendee viewing it. So, assuming that the start time has passed, what an attendee will be able to do is they could come in here, view all of my slides, and they could follow along just by clicking the arrows on the side here. So as I'm speaking and talking through my slides, they can view them this way. They can also take notes. So these are notes that I, the presenter, won't see. It's only the attendees will see their own notes. What I could also do if I was an attendee is I could click on this one here and I could ask a question of the presenter. So again, this is a private question between the attendee and the presenter. So they could type that up, click on send, and send that through. They could also request contact. If feedback was enabled, that would enable everybody in the audience to almost have like an internal tweet wall or an internal chat session, and the comments could be passed through that way. Now, don't worry, the questions and feedback comments won't be popping up on your screen while you're doing your presentation. So, when you come to give your presentation, you're using your laptop and you're using the PowerPoint slides. Same way you always do your presentations. You come in, start it up in here, and you just click through as you normally give your presentation. So you're using this completely independently of what's happening for your audience. Now, attendees can view your slides anonymously, but to take notes, to download any of the materials, or to interact in some kind of way, they will need to enter their name, their email, and a password. What we suggest is setting that up right at the start as part of the normal housekeeping, and it's critical that you pause and give your audience some time to log in. We talk more about this in the video about maximizing Prezentt, so take a look at that one. It'll be really useful. After the presentation is finished, Prezentt will automatically send an email to each attendee. So here's what the automatic email will look like. It'll say, thanks for attending my presentation, with the title, have your picture in there, one more opportunity to interact, have links back to any other files and resources and so on, another link so that they can download the slides straight away, and an invitation to connect with you on social media. Now, fantastic thing about this is you don't need to email your presentation around anymore. How great is that? It just happens automatically. So the attendees can always access your presentation plus all the notes they took at any time after the presentation is finished. All they need to do is log back into Prezentt, and this means that they can always find their notes. So great. As the presenter, I can always log back in at any time to see the stats on all of the presentations that I've done. Plus I can get the contact details of everybody who's attended. If I have upgraded to a paid account, I can also download all the details in a CSV format just by clicking this button over here. Then I can read this into a spreadsheet program where I can import it into any contact management system or emailing list program for future use. And as you can see here, I can check what kind of interactions have occurred, and I can just expand those out. Now, I could do this during the presentation as well if I wanted to take questions using Prezentt and address them in the presentation itself. I would just open up this page on my phone or tablet. So before you start using Prezentt in a real live presentation setting, I highly recommend watching our video on maximizing Prezentt. This gives you some fantastic tips about what works and also what doesn't when you're using Prezentt. So it's critical for your success with Prezentt. Lastly, if you haven't upgraded to a full presenter account yet, make sure you do this, as it will make downloading all your attendee details so easy. Plus you can get support if you ever need it. Thanks for watching. Please let us know about your adventures with Prezentt.